You know what they say, when it comes to coverage ahead of the European Championships, either go hard or go home. So, as football prepares to come home, I'm going hard on the Euros front as we count down to the postponed 16th edition of the biggest international competition within the European game. I stand by my promise to buy a £5,000 ticket for the final, by hook or by crook, and do my very first matchday vlog should this channel reach 500,000 subscribers before the finals begin. And even if you don't manage to force me into taking out a bank loan or remortgaging my house to do that, it would be funny if we accidentally ended up overtaking the Irish guy over on HITC Sport. A couple of months ago, I made a video ranking every World Cup winning captain, which was enjoyable and all, but was nowhere near as topical as today's video. To be absolutely clear, and for the avoidance of any possible confusion or doubt, I am ranking every captain to have won the European Championships based upon their overall talent and their overall careers. I am not ranking them based upon how good they were or how well they played at the tournament in which they won the European Championships. For example, Joe Allen was better than Kevin De Bruyne at Euro 2016, but I do not think that Joe Allen is more talented or has enjoyed a superior career to Kevin De Bruyne. I know, shocking. So, were they both Euro-winning captains, I would rank De Bruyne above Allen. Hopefully, that is straightforward enough. There have been 15 Euros to date in total, but only 14 cup-winning captains since one man has captained their team to the title twice. 5 points if you can guess who before we reach them. Here is how I would rank every captain to have won the European Championships, from least to most brilliant. 14th, THEODOROS ZAGORAKIS. This may seem slightly obvious and cliched, but after much consideration, I still believe that it is the right decision. You will notice that in the introduction just then, I said I was ranking the players from least to most brilliant, because, as ever, there are no bad European Championship winning captains. Someone has to get us started though, and in this instance, that man is THEODOROS ZAGORAKIS. If I were ranking these players in order of performance at the finals in question, there's no way that ZAGORAKIS would come last. He put in some Herculean performances for Greece in central midfield at Euro 2004, being named as man of the match in the final, as the player of the tournament, and finishing 5th in 2004 Ballon d'Or voting. The former Leicester City man was already a veteran of the game by 2004 though, and there's no doubt that was the absolute pinnacle of his career. He joined Bologna from AEK Athens off the back of his performances in Portugal, but that lasted just a single season, before ZAGORAKIS returned to Greece with PAOK. He spent 2 seasons in Thessaloniki before retiring from football, and he did so with a whopping 120 caps for Greece to his name. A legend of the European Championships, but a man whose achievements and ability outside of the tournament were modest in comparison to much of his competition. 13th. LARS OLSEN. Again, Greece in 2004 and Denmark in 1992 are the two great Euros upsets in terms of tournament winners. So, it seems almost lazy, and again, rather cliched, to pick out their 2 captains as my first 2 inclusions. Ultimately though, on the balance of things, I think it is pretty inarguable. LARS OLSEN was one of the older heads in the Denmark squad at Euro 92, aged 31. And he joined Turkish side Trabzonspor shortly before the finals began, following his standout performances in Brøndby's run to the UEFA Cup semi-finals. A left-footed, sweeper-style centre-back who was athletic and read the game well, Olsen was a very good centre-back, just not quite good enough to finish any higher than 13th. 12th. ANTON ONDRUS. From a centre-back who played a bit like a sweeper to an out-and-out sweeper during the ultimate era of sweepers, Anton Ondruš was a class act at the heart of the Czechoslovakia backline. Partnered by the more athletic Coleman Goch, Ondruš was a tall but stylish defender with a sixth sense for sniffing out danger and the ability to instigate attacks all of his own. In the Euro 76 final, you had 2 of the finest sweepers in world football on show, in the forms of Franz Beckenbauer and Anton Ondruš. On the day, it was Ondruš's men who emerged victorious, and he was among the 5 Czechs to coolly convert their penalties. At club level, Ondruš spent the bulk of his playing days with Slovan Bratislava, and only the phenomenal calibre of this list prevents him from finishing any higher than 12th. 11th. Bernhard Dietz. When you think of the West German team that won Euro 80, most people's minds probably go to the majesty of Bernd Schuster in midfield, that year's Ballon d'Or winner Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, and the brace that Horst Hrubesch bagged in the final. As is so often the case, the best leaders may not be the most eye-catching players, and that was certainly true of Bernhard Dietz. The superb Duisburg all-rounder captained West Germany to their second European crown in 1980, but he was one of only 5 German players who started in the final that didn't make the team of the tournament. A real Swiss Army knife of a footballer, Dietz could play as a centre-back, sweeper, or as a left-back, and with 7 kicker Bundesliga Team of the Season inclusions to his name, only 4 players have ever featured in that 11 more times than him. 10th. Ferran Oliveira. Ferran Oliveira might just be the least well-known player in this video, with the obvious exception of the 0.5% of HITC Sevens viewers who are based in Spain and the handful more Barcelona fans who know their club's past. I say that partly because Ferran Oliveira was only the second captain to ever get their hands on the European Championship trophy, doing so on home soil in 1964 as Spain won their first major trophy. Spain played with 5 forwards at Euro 64, which meant that their back 3, or 5, operating almost in a WM formation, had to be absolutely rock solid. Oliveira and his comrades were just that, albeit there were only 4 teams who qualified for the Euros in those days, meaning that you only actually needed to win 2 games to lift the famous trophy. At club level, Oliveira spent 13 years at Barcelona, 5 as captain, but he only ever scored 1 goal for the club. That was never his job though, and the 2-time La Liga title winner kickstarts our top 10. 9th. Didier Deschamps. The first player to feature in this list, who also featured in my video ranking every World Cup winning captain, Didier Deschamps, won the World Cup as France captain in 1998, the Euros as France captain in 2000, the World Cup as France manager in 2018, and now he'll be hoping to win the Euros as France manager in 2021. A perennially underrated footballer, Deschamps played in the classically unappreciated role of spoiler and disruptor, but he was magnificent at his job, and very much underrated in terms of his vision and ability to play the ball through the lines. Deschamps was the first man to win more than 100 caps for Les Bleus, so the former Marseille and Juventus star takes 9th place. 8th. Igor Netto. The very first captain to win the European Championships, Igor Netto is one of the greatest Russian footballers of all time. Back then, he was representing the Soviet Union, where he was the nation's outstanding outfield player. A complete footballer with a first-class football brain, Netto played in virtually every outfield position across his 17 years in the sport, and he was as effective playing as a deep-lying midfielder as he was playing as a second striker. Though Russia were among the pioneers of the 4-4-2 and 4-2-4 formations, they played a more traditional WM formation at Euro 1960. Netto played as a left half, where he dictated the tempo of games and masterminded the Soviet Union's success. A fantastic dribbler of the ball, a tireless runner, and a pinpoint passer, Netto spent his entire career at Spartak Moscow, and for a decade he was among the best midfielders in the world. 7th. Jürgen Klinsmann. Germany have had some truly great centre-forwards over the years, but few finer than Jürgen Klinsmann. The first out-and-out forward in this video, and among a select few forwards to have ever won the Euros as captains, Klinsmann lifted the trophy at Wembley Stadium in 1996. Only Alan Shearer scored more goals than Klinsmann at that tournament, though it was the more direct and physical presence of Oliver Bierhoff who ultimately won the final for Germany against the Czech Republic. An instinctive goal scorer who scored prolifically in every one of Europe's top 5 leagues with the exception of La Liga, purely because he never played in Spain, Klinsmann scored 47 goals from 108 caps for Germany, and the fact he's only in 7th speaks volumes about the quality that is still to come. 6th. RUUD Gullit. RUUD Gullit was just 25 years old when he captained the Netherlands to glory at Euro 88. There appears to be a trend in this video of extremely versatile and well-rounded Euro-winning captains, and Gullit is among the most complete footballers of all time. He played in defence, midfield and in attack across the course of his remarkable trophy-laden career, but it was up front, either alongside or just in behind the great Marco van Basten, that Gullit played for both club and country in 1988. At the peak of his powers at that time, Gullit had incredible creativity and technique, which he twinned with remarkable athleticism and aerial might. The end product was one of the most formidable players of his generation, and he deservedly takes 6th place. 5th, Iker Casillas. The only captain to have won the European Championships twice, give yourselves a quick pat on the back if you said Iker Casillas when I posed that question to you during the introduction. It's very difficult to compare outfield players to goalkeepers, let alone outfield players who largely played in totally different eras, but I am of the opinion that Iker Casillas is among the greatest goalkeepers of all time. He perhaps peaked a little earlier than most other players in his position, but in his pomp, he was comfortably among the 5 most formidable goalkeepers during my lifetime. Casillas obviously captained Spain to European crowns in both 2008 and 2012, as well as the World Cup in 2010. 4th, Giacinto Facchetti. It took Italy a replay in the final to overcome an outstanding Yugoslavia team at Euro 68, but they did it in the end, thanks to goals from Luigi Riva and Pietro Anastasi at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome. From Dino Zoff to Sandro Mazzola, that Italy team was packed full of stars, but they also had by far the best left-back in Europe at the time. That man was Giacinto Facchetti, an inspirational captain and pioneering fullback who led both Inter Milan and Italy with remarkable distinction. Tall, elegant, stylish and creative, Facchetti is among the most complete fullbacks the sport has ever seen. Rock solid offensively, but a constant threat down the left flank. Only 3 genuine GOAT candidates prevented him from making a podium finish. 3rd, Michel Platini. Michel Platini ranked 10th in my list of the 100 greatest footballers of all time many moons ago, if I remember correctly, which means that you can expect the next 2 inclusions to have finished above him in that list. Well, either that or I've just changed my mind over the years, I suppose. France's greatest player of all time, as far as I'm concerned, he might not have been as quick as Henry, as skillful as Zidane, or as prolific as Papin, but in terms of his effectiveness and consistency, I think Platini comes out on top of the lot. If this video were ranked on performances at the specific Euros in which said player won as captain, Platini would come out on top. His performances at Euro 84 are like the Euro's answer to Maradona at the 86 World Cup. Platini was unstoppable, bagging hat-tricks against both Belgium and Yugoslavia, a last-minute winner against Portugal, and of course, a customary goal in the final. In total, Platini scored 9 goals as France emerged victorious on home soil. The next highest scorer scored 3. At club level, Platini starred for Nantes, Saint Etienne and Juventus, winning 3 successive Ballon d'Ors with the latter of the trio before retiring before he had even turned 32. 2nd place, Franz Beckenbauer. We've had a couple of great sweepers in this list already, but taking the silver medal as our runner-up is the greatest sweeper of all time. No, not Bert out of Mary Poppins. I am referring, of course, to the one and only Franz Beckenbauer. The greatest non-forward in the history of the sport, as far as I'm concerned. I like the stat that Franz Beckenbauer spent 12 seasons with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, from the age of 19 through to 31, and he made the Bundesliga team of the season in all 12 seasons. That is the most of any player in history. Having started out in central midfield, Beckenbauer later pioneered the sweeper position, becoming the single most important player in terms of both the defensive side and of instigating attacks for both Bayern Munich and West Germany. As a captain, he won every single trophy he competed for within the club and international game, with his Euros crown coming in 1972 when West Germany beat the Soviet Union comfortably 3-0 in the final. Beckenbauer twice made the Euros team of the tournament and thrice made the World Cup team of the tournament, which really isn't bad going when you consider that his international career ended at the age of 31. Top spot, Cristiano Ronaldo. Somewhat unusually, Cristiano Ronaldo is the only man in this list who didn't actually win the Euros as captain. Sorry, I should rephrase that a little bit since that isn't very clear. He is the only man in this list who wasn't the captain of their national team when the final whistle blew in the final of the European Championships that they won. Of course, That is because he was forced off the pitch at the final of Euro 2016 with an injury following a clash with Dimitri Payet in around the 20th minute. Ricardo Quaresma took his place on the pitch, but it was Nani who took the captain's armband ahead of the likes of Pepe and Rui Patricio. Had I been ranking Nani, I'm not sure that he would have topped the list, to be totally honest with you, but Ronaldo is still the official Euro 2016 winning captain, and he played a pivotal role in Portugal reaching the final, even if he was powerless to help them overcome France in the final itself. Whilst most of you will probably have expected Ronaldo to top this list, I think there is an argument to be had between Beckenbauer and Ronaldo, to the extent that you can compare such radically different types of players. Ultimately though, whilst the Kaiser retired from international football at 31 and set sail for New York, Ronaldo is still scoring prolifically in Europe at the very highest level at the age of 36, something which he has been doing for a very long time now. Ronaldo will almost certainly reach 700 club career goals next season, provided he can stay fit, in addition to the 103 goals that he has scored for Portugal. He just needs 7 more goals to leapfrog Ali Dyer as the top scorer in the history of the international men's game. Ronaldo has made the Euros team at the tournament 3 times, he has won the second most Man of the Match awards of any player at the Euros, behind Andres Iniesta, and he made the all-time Euro 11 in 2016. Above and beyond all of that though, obviously, Ronaldo is the Globe Soccer Awards Player of the Century, so naturally, he takes top spot. That is it for today's video, but thank you all very much as ever for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it, and make sure that you are subscribed and have notifications turned on for HITC Sevens, where there will be plenty more European Championship content coming up over the next month. Oh, and you can also find me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram via the username at HITC Sevens on both, should you wish to do so.